on. We're back.
The time is now.
Welcome to NUFC Talk TV. We are live with the panel for a good night discussion. And we got to start with the breaking news, ladies and gents. But before that, actually, let me do the housekeeping, as Gary would call it. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please do that right now. Hit the like button. Comment below. Let us know what you think in the chat. If you are watching on YouTube, let us know what you think about the current situation. We're going to talk about the Premier League. Man City settling their disagreements outside of court. And how does that affect us? We shall see. We're going to discuss it. We're going to bring in a Man City fan later on this week, trying to do that. So stay tuned for that one to see their perspective, a few questions that we may have for them as well. But again, welcome to NUFC Talk TV. As I said, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Become a member if you can. And throughout the night, you can also super chat and highlight your comment. And again, we'll be discussing the latest trending stories of Newcastle United. So, lads and lasses, bands, all watching. Let us know what you think in the comment section. But panel, we got the Mighty Wayne, we got Boki, we got Jefferson, and we got Tim. So, breaking news. The Man City and the Premier League reached a settlement in their dispute over the associated party transaction rules. This legal action is separate to the one covering more than 100 charges against Man City for allegedly breaches of the Premier League rules. So the club deny these charges. Now, the sponsorship situation is weird. They have settled this out of court. And what does this mean for Newcastle United? Have they hung Newcastle out to dry? Are Man City now part of the cartel? Is the cartel not red anymore? Is it starting to lean a couple of shades, towards the dark side, towards the blue side? Chelsea already pretty much are on that side. They do whatever they want. No repercussions. So let's get to it then. We got other news to discuss later on, so stay tuned. We got a long show ahead of us. So again, smash the like button. All right then. By the way, you've been saying that Newcastle are waiting on this whole situation. Were we all expecting Man City to do the dirty job for us? If we were, well, let's come back to hunt us once again. Because
but has it? But has it? Because there's two ways of looking at it. The first one is they are now allowed to go ahead with the £30 million sponsorship deal with Etihad, which was originally banned by ATP rules. So they are going ahead with that. Now, does that mean that we can do the same? We can get that level, shall we say, of sponsorship for St. James's Park? Because that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, bear in mind, it just refers to the APT section, which they'd already had. If you remember when the findings came out, I think it was in April, wasn't it? When the Premier League said they had won and Man City said they had won. So it then had to go to an appeal. It was found in City's favour. Premier League went to appeal, and it's that process, that appeal process, which is since now, just today, being agreed upon. So that process, the appeal process about the APT rules being illegal, has now been settled, and the outcome of that is, in City's statement, they have said they now agree to abide by the current rules. So it looks like they've got their own way with regard to the Etihad deal, which is the deal which they put forward as being the deal which the APT rules were against. And by being against that rule, they were illegal. So they've won that one. But on the other hand, they've agreed that the rest of the ramifications of the APT rules that were introduced and re-voted upon by the Premier League are now valid, and they will stick by them.
So
Now, it also gives Newcastle United and PIF the opportunity to say, well, if Man City have gone and done this and been successful, why the hell can't we?
well, why have we not done it? I guess could be a
I don't
question.
know.
I think that we're going to get to Boki in this situation. I think that our owners have been very submissive, even called out by the media. You know, it's crazy because the media have. It's been like the media does favor the cartel. That's turned into the cartel, the purple cartel now, not so much red. But I guess even the media has recognized that this ownership has been very submissive, even with the Eastside situation, with the sponsorship, with the deals, with the stadium, it's been very submissive, and I could to a certain extent agree. I have criticized PIF for saying that they don't have a backbone because of the Eastside situation. I hope I'm wrong when it comes to the deals. Boki, what do you make of this whole situation? It feels like now City and the Premier League have handled their differences outside of court, and where does that leave us now? Are we alone in this world?
From what I understand of the statement now, all clubs have to follow the Premier League rules now. So we can't just go out and do this. The agreement is net that City have came to is they've said we wouldn't do this again, basically. So all teams now have to follow Premier League rules. It just seems the Premier League's doing everything to make sure the top six stay the way they are, basically. The, the the rules just seem absolutely ridiculous for them. I mean, the way Chelsea have gone on is a joke. Aston Villa, even like Aston Villa, have been allowed to get away with it, and I don't know why we haven't. I don't know why we haven't just says bugger it, let's go for it. I don't know whether as part of the takeover there was some sort of agreement that Newcastle had to be whiter than white, but that's just a bit of potential opinion from me. I don't know enough about it, but it just seems that we've missed the boat in regards to spending the money and getting away with it.
Yep. Jefferson. So, I mean, if we are bold enough, this could be a situation where we just say, all right, then, well, City are, because everything that I see on social media now is like City will continue their deal with, I believe, was Etihad Airways or something like that.
Etihad Airways and
yeah,
First
the deal
Abu
that
Dhabi
actually
Bank.
Yeah, so the deals that actually got them in this sort of trouble, they're gonna follow through and do those deals. So if we are bold enough, why couldn't we just do what we want then? If that's or just mimic their deal, right? If they're gonna do 500 million, then let us do 500 million or 499. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think it's probably a goose and gander situation where maybe we've been a bit slow on this now. So we may well have missed the boat, unfortunately. If we'd maybe got some kind of dealings done, we could have then matched it according to whatever this ruling was. I think some of those charges they had as well was about those really hyper inflated fees. So we're looking at, the realms of £300 million, £500 million, ridiculous inflated amounts based on sort of the third party sponsorship situation. Um, I don't think we would have gone through that route. I think we always would have looked to do something reasonable, but I think we clearly had a keen eye on what the outcome to this was going to be. Um, what it does do now is it means it restricts us, because it means whatever deals we do definitely have to adhere to the Premier League rules from now on. So I think you guys are right in terms of, whilst this was all going on, we could have maybe proceeded with something, tested the waters a bit, and then just said, like whatever's happened to Man City, like, come on, we got to go like for like here. So I'm interested to see now. It's very timely with the new CEO being appointed how this will affect his plans, his vision, and any future things we had in store, such as a brand new stadium, for example. It would have been very easy to say, okay, we will name this the Saudi Airways Stadium or something, and generate X amount of cash via sponsorship. So those kind of ridiculous fees that people would be scrutinizing the club clearly isn't going to happen now. And it's back to the drawing board from here. Will be very interesting. It's just another thing that's going to stifle us from growing. And I am a bit worried that maybe Man City's conceded on this to potentially get a more lenient sort of sentence for their other 100+ charges that are coming. So don't be surprised if that's diluted. It might be a tit for tat situation.
Well, the biggest question is going to be: did Man City fall to the Premier League? And we thought that we could have a partnership in the sense that we've done this in a similar way, or trying to, I guess. Being I don't know if it would be the first time or maybe the second time that well, maybe never that the state has bought a club. Obviously, the United Emirates done it with Man City. Russia did with Chelsea, but I don't know if Russia wasn't involved. It was. You can say. It was. But you get the tie. There's a reason why he had to sell, because he had ties
Qatar,
with
Qatar, PSG.
Well, I'm talking about the Premier League though, because the Premier League is very, very, very difficult to deal with in this case. PSG do whatever they want. They buy the players that they want. Now now you can argue whether that's good or bad because they haven't won.
But
they just won.
What strikes me, and I think it's shocking, is the fact that in the City statement it says it's been agreed that neither the Premier League nor the club will be making any further comment about the matter. So that just saying that's it. You can't know anything else. We're not going to tell you anything else. We've both agreed that we're not going to say anything.
If this was this was a public matter, why didn't this go public? Or was it not a public matter? Two private entities. So I don't know, but maybe because of this, for the sake of the competition, the transparency of the competition, maybe you would need to tell the clubs what's happened. So we'll see. Tim, welcome, mate, tonight to the show. What do you make of this situation? Us as fans, we're kind of just stranded in this whole deal. We just have to go about what they tell us. But what do you make of it?
Well, I would like to know whether the original charge for Man City on this particular sponsor, was that in regards to an associated party, or was that not viewed as fair market value? Which was the charge?
Fair market value.
Right. Okay. I think maybe Man City don't want to open the floodgates for Newcastle as well. If they kind of did win, maybe they're looking at it and going, well, actually, we'll open the floodgates for Newcastle and other clubs. So maybe they're happy to keep the door closed and keep the cartel together. What I would say is, going forward, at least they know where they stand now, the club and the CEO. Like you say, he's in place now. He can read the landscape as to what we can and can't do. So now we can still go out and get training ground sponsors, training shirt sponsors. And yes, it's maybe not what we hope for in terms of like the financial muscle, but like you said, Wayne, I think we've been maybe holding back to see what's going to happen with this case. Now we know there's no excuses now not to go forward and at least try and get some sponsors in and build forward that way. I think maybe with the Saudis as well, I think it is possible that they're quite wary of their image in that when they took over the club, there was a lot of noise around them. And I do think they've probably tried to keep a clean image, and took a step back for that reason. It's kind of like a bit of PR, rightly or wrongly. I wouldn't be surprised if that was partly their thing and they didn't want to go in like a bull in a Chinese shop and be perceived as like these not reckless, but these owners who once again are kind of messing up the game, like the Man City owners were accused of and Chelsea. So I think that's probably played a part. And PSR itself, PSR could, am I right in saying that could still be tweaked, regardless of this ruling?
Well, I'm almost certain now that Newcastle PIF will definitely be going to try and put in some new sponsorship deals now.
Well, we hope that's the case.
Which, you know, the Premier League will be very, very wary about challenging on the basis that they've already had their fingers burnt when Man City did the same thing. The actual City statement says this settlement brings to an end the dispute between the parties, that's Man City and the Premier League, regarding the APT rules. As part of the settlement, Manchester City accepts that the current APT rules are valid and binding.
Yeah.
So
let me go with the Premier League and see what they had to say. Well, not the Premier League. I'm sorry, Sky Sports earlier on today about what is the report really on this whole situation. So stay tuned.
Some breaking news reaching us. Manchester City and the Premier League have settled a dispute relating to the league's associated party transaction rules. So I've got Chief Correspondent Kaveh Solokol to join me on set to explain this. Kaveh, what has happened?
I mean, this is one of the most complicated stories I think we've covered here on Sky Sports News.
That's why we've got you on.
But basically, what has happened this afternoon is that at the same time, the Premier League and Manchester City have both announced that they have agreed a settlement over the Premier League's associated party transaction rules. Now, under the settlement, Manchester City accept that the current associated party transaction rules are valid and binding. Of course, this is a really complicated story. I don't know how much time you've got, but it all started around the time of Newcastle United's takeover by the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund. What happened is around that time, the other Premier League clubs were concerned that these new investors in Newcastle United were going to do lots of associated party transaction deals. That means doing deals with companies that are linked to your owners. So these APT rules were tightened up. And then Manchester City tried to do some new commercial deals with, I think, Etihad Airways and also a bank in Abu Dhabi. Now, these deals were blocked by the Premier League under their APT rules. Now, Manchester City didn't take no for an answer. They challenged those rules and they won some very significant legal victories because I remember last year one tribunal found, for instance, that aspects of the rules were unlawful. And Manchester City at the time saw this as a big legal victory. And then what the Premier League did is they went away and they amended their rules. They changed them in the way that the tribunal has suggested the rules were unlawful. But still Manchester City didn't take that, didn't accept that. They challenged that as well and said, look, it's not good enough just tweaking the rules a little bit. The rules are unlawful. So Manchester City all along have been challenging these rules. And today we have found out that an agreement has been reached. A settlement has been reached whereby City do now accept that the rules in their current form, the amended form, are valid and binding.
All right. So all of that to me screams of corruption. And I'm gonna explain why. And we're gonna get Martin from Mancunian Way, Man City fan, to come and explain his side. The reason why is because I think this is why to me it seems like corruption, and I'm not accusing of corruption, but it seems like that. It sounds like that, simply because I don't agree with this rule or this law or whatever, the rule. And now later we have a meeting amongst each other, a secret meeting. And I say now I do agree with the law, with the rule. You tell me that right there sounds dirty. And if this rule affects other Premier League clubs, why can't we know the settlement? What was discussed privately? Is my question. So what do you guys make of it?
And I just
Well,
ask,
let me just throw something out there.
Man City haven't got any of the money off these deals. So basically, they had put these proposals forward. The Premier League turned them down. Man City went to court to go against it. There was a decision made that that Man City were right, but they never actually got the money off the deals. Is that right?
No, I think they've
Well-
done the deals now.
So they've done the deals. So in which case,
The deals were done then, but they couldn't be sanctioned. They couldn't be rubber stamped because of this.
so they've
legal
had the money.
case that was
They've
going
had the
on.
money off them deals.
And by all accounts, I'm sure I read that those deals are now going ahead as originally.
In law, does that not set a precedent anyway?
Well,
So
that's what I'm saying.
So if Newcastle will go in and do exactly the same, how can the Premier League possibly then sanction them for something they haven't sanctioned Man City for?
That's
Is it
exactly.
based on retrospect, you think? Because when did they put it in?
Well, the point is it's precedent. You know, all English law is based on precedent, and that precedent has now been set. Albeit that right now, Man City are saying that they have agreed to abide by the laws the rules as they currently stand.
Yeah, they should be saying that we are going to give back the money we received, shouldn't they? If I'm reading this right,
Right.
if they agree to that rule going forward, because
because Man City can say because Man City can say, well, because you denied us that we were able to do this deal, we lost this
That was
money.
what they did the Premier League for, denying them revenue. That was how the case
yeah, I know what you mean.
was
Like
brought
what you're
about.
saying, though, they did actually receive that particular fee, though, didn't they? Is that right?
That I'm not 100%
Right.
certain on, but I know the deal is, by all accounts today, they've said that deal can now go ahead.
Yeah, and I do agree with Boki though. I think it in itself, you can use that as to say, well, we can do the same deal, exactly the same deal, copy and paste. And
Yeah.
if they get to do it, why can't we? You know, one of the here's the thing, people keep calling them cartel. That's fine. That's a good name for them. But it is a group of clubs that got together and said Newcastle United can't be another successful club. For lack of a better words that they were used, whatever, or they may have used those words. No, couldn't put anything past them. But they came up with this rule. Even Daniel Levy, who's just been sacked, and he's been sacked. He the mutual agreement, all that's BS. He's been sacked by Joe. What's the owner?
Lewis.
Joe Lewis. He's been sacked by him. So before that, when they tried to use this argument that makes no sense really. That they said that the Premier League now is more divided than ever, and we should be together. And the issue might be, that with owners from different countries, you can't sit down with them and have a conversation. That's what Daniel Levy said in an interview with Simon Jordan. You can't really. It's nothing against them, he says. Nothing against them at all. But it's that you can't really sit around and talk about the future of the English Premier League because those people might have different intentions. It's make money and leave or live their own. But it's all BS, really. That excuse. It's all BS. All of these people get in here for money. Daniel Levy got to Spurs for money. I doubt that he grew up a Spurs fan. I don't know, maybe. But regardless, it's all about money. What about the American owners? You think they grew up fans of Todd Bowley was a Chelsea fan when he was growing up? And he wanted all the best for Chelsea? No. It's all about business. And fair enough. It's about business. But it has to be fair for everybody. So
I've just found this now on the Telegraph from 6 hours ago. The peace deal means City now accept the rules as well as those that were amended last autumn. However, confidence appears to be growing among City's Abu Dhabi-based ownership that they can sign a new deal with Etihad Airways, state-owned airway of the Gulf nation, that is expected to be a significant uplift on the current £400 million deal signed in 2011. So they
So do
haven't set, by reading that, they haven't yet signed a new agreement, but they are going to, and it's going to be considerably more than the 400 million agreement signed in 2011.
So do we jump in now and do exactly the same thing, get a massive deal in?
Well,
If we do it and City do it, they can't do one club and not do the other.
Exactly. That's what I would
well,
say.
except for what Carl is saying here, if that goes through, Newcastle can't do it because they didn't have the deals in place before the new rules were set. What new rules were set though? Because as far as I know,
EPT rules that came. Oh God, it was the 20.
So the rules.
25th of August last year, just from memory.
I've got the rules. I've got the rules up. It
Yeah.
says the Premier League's rules require any club, its players, manager, or any senior official to run dealings with associated parties past them. Associated parties are companies or people who have a significant interest in the relevant club, financially or otherwise. The Premier League's board then reviews each transaction to assess whether it believes they represent a fair market value, which Tim was on about earlier. And the league says the rule helps to build fairness across the division by ending a reliance on enhanced commercial revenues linked to the club's ownership.
all right. So joining us now, we got host of the Mancunian Way on YouTube, Man City fan, Mr. Martin. Welcome,
Martin.
mate. Welcome to answer. Welcome. You got to answer for your sins now, boy. I thought we were friends. I thought we were.
I'm not.
partners.
Listen, I'm Scrooge McDuck tonight. I'm swimming in it. I'm all right.
And so, what do you have to say for yourself, man? You made a deal with the devil, so now you gotta deal with it.
Yeah,
But you're all right. So
no.
Do you think there's been a deal done on the back of the 115 as well?
Because we're going to blow 115 out of the water as well. At the end of the day,
what?
if you deal with the bear, you get your arm ripped off, and that's what the Premier League did. They went toe to toe with the bear and got their arm ripped off, and we warned them this was coming. And to answer you, it has nothing to do with 115. I know there's a lot of rivals. There's a lot of people from other clubs, the cartel clubs, that have revelled in this because they saw a headline and got slightly excited for 30 seconds. And you know, a lot of City fans have put out tonight, English comprehension's out the door today because no one's learned how to read properly because no one's read these statements. The APT thing, it was a settlement, yeah. It was the Etihad deals are all going to get pushed through. Abu Dhabi Palace, Abu Dhabi First Bank, Etihad Airlines, stadium sponsor, naming rights will be record-breaking, never before seen in the UK by any football club, is what I believe. That's on the back of 10, 12 years of constant success. That doesn't just happen in one go. That takes 10 years of constantly winning trebles, doubles, being in the Champions League consecutively for 16 seasons. Only team ever to ever done that. The great even Ferguson team couldn't keep his team in the Champions League for 16 years straight. And when you get that, people come knocking on your door. I was listening on the way home. There was no charges for APT. APT was never a charge. It was a situation that we landed into during the 115 investigation. So while City were doing their, Lord Panic was doing his 115 investigation and putting his house in order for it all, suddenly crept up to, hang on a minute, what's this that's going on here with APT and shareholder loans within certain football clubs that are not included in your rules. So City went, okay, we will now have a look at this as well. And that's what we did. And we basically, we have agreed a deal. We have settled. And this is going to sound harsh. City were never in this fight for Newcastle. I think that has been slightly...
And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. My debate will be against people like Mighty Win, who thought that was the case and argued that was the case and argued that our owners are not wasting time but are waiting for Man City to do the deal for us and it was just it
I
ended up
don't know
being a
why.
total waste of time.
With due respect, I know for a fact, I know people within, well, I won't go into it. City, we're never going to forgive the 9 clubs, or as we call them, the famous 9 over at Manchester City, that began this whole 115 situation.
Martin, can I ask a question? Because me and Win were trying to figure this out a post show the other day.
Mhm.
Is that so the usual suspects, the cartel, plus Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Southampton,
And Newcastle.
oh, and us as well.
Yeah.
So
Under
wait. So what are you trying to say?
Oh,
then?
under Meg Ashley.
Yes. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. City. I think there was this belief going into the APT that everyone was sort of. There was the American stuff. There was the sort of Gulf investment side, and we were all sat in a little circle holding hands. Was to a point, but City were not really fighting for Newcastle. They were fighting for Manchester City. As Pep Guardiola has made, there are no friends in the Premier League. There are only interests. That was a statement that Pep Guardiola made. There are only interests. There are no friends.
Okay, then, so that's fine. I mean, I don't think any of us or any fan or anybody would. I would never ask another club to fight my battles. I think we wasted time and we should have just done what we needed to do. There are fans like Win who just wanted you to do to fight our battles. But is it fair to say then that you folded to the Premier League and you folded to the Purple Cartel now?
No, we've not folded. I know that's how many people will say it. City have got what they wanted out of this. City have had their Etihad. I mean, it wasn't the Etihad deals were getting declined. It was the valuation of them that was being.
Yeah, so are you going to get the original valuation that you went for?
That's what the rumours are, yes. We're going to get the original valuation.
So that would be like a 10-year billion.
Probably more. Because if you think about it with Abu Dhabi Palace, Abu Dhabi First Bank, because it's going to be a stadium and shirt sponsor as well. So you'll have your shirt sponsor deal, you'll have your naming rights for the stadium, and then whatever they want to call Abu Dhabi. I mean, they might call the training ground Abu Dhabi First Bank Training Ground. I don't know. That's.
Thank you, Warren Denny, for the super chat. Says would hope we're more active than wait to see what happened. Well, I doubt we haven't.
I mean, one thing I will say, Chris, I do agree. I agree with you. Newcastle need to be proactive and fight this themselves as well. They need to go ahead and fight it. I don't know if they are waiting for the 115 outcome. We're all waiting for that. I think we've won the 115. I think we'll win that clear as houses. You don't extend your stadium, build a 5-star hotel, spend 400 million, pump £500 million of revenue into broadening your training ground and your women's team, and then go and play Crawley Town the year after. And sign £1 billion sponsorship with Puma.
Yeah, that's good. That means that we can do the same.
Yeah,
we can just.
I agree.
So, for Newcastle fans listening or watching, I mean, if we don't.
I think what Martin's argument is, we can do the same providing we stay in the Champions League for 16 years. And
you won't get the level we've got because we've got that level because of the 10 years, 15 years sustained.
So you're saying that if we were able to get Adidas, how much you get for Puma?
100 million.
So 100 million. So if well, I mean, obviously Adidas not owned by Saudi, but I don't know, some brand.
By the way, as is Puma not owned by Abu Dhabi.
So in the sense that would be a fair deal, but say Aramco gives us a lot of money. I don't know what would be a lot of money for naming rights for the stadium nowadays, but I don't know what 400 million, 500 million, whatever. That would, in your opinion, that wouldn't go through because we're not in the we haven't won, and therefore our brand is not worth 500, 400 million.
That
and
would
that's
be
why
what the Premier League would argue.
Yeah, at the moment, that's where the Premier League will argue that. They'll say, well, what have you got in terms of why are you getting 500 million? Because then Arsenal will say, or Liverpool will say, why are you getting the same level we're getting and we've won A, B, C, D?
Mm-hmm.
We
Not
have to
realistic. It's
accept that.
inflated fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Newcastle can't get a better, because personally, I think the seller deal was it 25 million a season.
And it's the first time ever. That's why the Premier League is something incredible, you know, because it's the not only do you get to tell people what they can buy or can't buy, it's just like buying an investment company and you can't invest in it, but now you're telling. It's crazy. Think about it like this, you know. I have say we have a YouTube channel here. We can advertise businesses, and a business tells me, here you go, £10,000 per month for you to advertise, and it's the first time ever in history where we get to say, no, man, that's too much money. You can't give me that. That's too much money. No. We're worth less. We're worth less.
As Mark Goldbridge.
Yeah,
If the
but
business is willing to pay,
that's the point. If we wanted to get a sponsor of that ridiculous amount of money, there's nobody can stop us getting it, because it's business. If somebody thinks you're worth that amount of money, you're worth that amount of money.
But the Premier League says, no, you're not worth that, mate. I'm going to be the police.
Super chats, Chris. Warren Denon, another £2. Surely we could have done something interim.
Like a 2-year deal or something like that.
Well, I said we missed the boat in that once when that deal was declared illegal, we missed a massive trick, not going and getting deals done there and then before this process had taken place, because then I'm pretty sure we would have had to have been involved in the process.
Martin, can I ask you a quick question, if that's okay?
Yep.
Just in regards to this, do you feel comfortable with the way this has went in regards to football? In regards to, say, during the 90s, you had Liverpool who won the league, and you had Man United during the 2000s. In regards to that, they were on a level playing field with the rest of the teams in the league. So the rest of the teams in the league could have spent more money and could have caught them up and could have, there was always a chance. Now the way it's went is there's no chance for other teams to get into that sort of, as it's called, the cartel. You know, everything's set against teams. It's not a level playing field that it has been in the past.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think it's ever been a level playing field. When United was spending 30 million on Varane and Van Nistelrooy, when they came and took Andy Cole off you for £7 million and you got Keith Gillespie, you know what I mean? Was that a fair playing level field?
But any other teams could have done that, though. There was always the option.
They couldn't have done that because their owners didn't have the money.
Well, that's the owner's issue. That's not a.
No, I agree. I think it's, for me, I think an owner should be allowed to put money in. 100%. I agree with that. Where I think it's not been a level playing field is United went on the stock exchange in 1992 when the Premier League came into form and made all the millions. United just did this, but in a very different way, in a very roundabout way of doing it. They floated themselves on the stock exchange. We all remember the Dick Knight situation. Tried going and taking over and be Sky B, etc. They weren't stupid. United saw what was coming. Now, Liverpool, you know, the other side of the coin, because, I mean, there is this misconception at the minute, and I've seen it along many channels now, that City are part of a cartel. We are not part of no cartel. We don't want to be part of a cartel. We've never wanted. This is cartel against us. The way City feel as though it's everyone against us, because we're the ones who've tried to I'll be blunt with you, majority of the league what has scrapped down to League 16, what has demolished and erased from history. Well, is that
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, Chris, there has.
Oh, they do.
Chris, there has. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. City has been the enemy for many, many years. Liverpool,
you think Forest wakes up thinking you're the enemy, or Aston Villa wants City to be relegated? No, I don't think so, man. I think there's a lot of hate towards Man United.
115 owners, Chris. And do not say the Premier League,
especially the Red Cartel. They are licking their lips. For
it was the chief execs of the Premier League who said City do them. You think City were ever going to forgive or forget that?
The problem is, I think, for me, is like with football in general, it is so fractured now, and
It's
when you
awful.
go back, when you go back to when Chelsea got took over, there was no rules then, and they spent what they spent, and they jumped from where they were, which was still, 6th place or something like that. They jumped from there up to first place. And when Man City would took over, as far as I'm aware, it was the same situation. There was no rules in place, and it's not a magic wand. I'm not saying Man City. I'm not saying you jump from where you were to top the following season. So it's not a magic wand, but it gave that platform to build from. Now you fast forwards to later on, and you've got the FFP and PSR in place, and these other rules now, and now Newcastle, we want to try and, because these are the clubs like Liverpool as well, because they've done so well on the pitch, they've got all these commercial deals, they're so far ahead of the likes of us, along with Man City and Chelsea and the rest. We're trying to catch up, and as well as we want to do on the pitch, that would allow us to catch up. It's obviously a mountain to climb. So you want maybe that buffer, that leeway, so the league is competitive, that gives us that pathway to try and challenge them, but at the same time, not necessarily go back to what it was in 2004, where you open that kind of worms again. Because on the flip side, we're looking at it from Newcastle point of view, right? And we want to catch Man City. But then if you flip it to, let's say, Brentford, right? And then you say, we don't want these rules in place. How would the likes of Brentford feel when they just simply want to try and get, Europa League or Europa Conference? What chance would they have of catching Newcastle?
Let me flip it. So we scrap the rules, and it's City and Newcastle, because that's what the league will become. It will become a 2-team league.
No, it won't. No.
See, I disagree with that, Mon,
Yes,
because what I see
In a
is
20-year period, I think so.
Yeah.
Over 15,
No,
20 years.
When City and Newcastle will blow everyone out the water wages wise.
Financially,
Well,
yes.
but that doesn't mean that you're going. That doesn't mean that you win. That doesn't mean that you win.
Like Brentford.
No, but hold on.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying, Martin. Sorry, just that's what I'm saying. So, no, it's not. So
that's what
it's
I'm saying.
not
I agree. There has to be a balance. There's got to be a balance somewhere. That's where
Exactly.
the league has gone wrong.
But I want to challenge you on that. I didn't hear this tone from you before this settlement.
No, I am fully against the Premier League. I'm fully against the Premier League, and I'm fully against the cartel.
But you made an agreement with him. You made an agreement with him to settle this down and keep it under wraps for some reason.
Because
I think if it involves 29.
APT was not a legal thing. It should never have been. The last time I came on, me and Win should never have been out in the public domain. It was meant to be a private situation that was dealt with privately. It became public. I can't remember how it got out in the public. Probably from Martin Ziegler, who chats more rubbish than most people on Manchester City. But hey ho.
Well, I think Newcastle United were aware of it because they were the only club that wasn't invited to the meeting.
There wasn't even. It was meant to be all done privately, and then City went, all right. City didn't get the answer they want, so they challenged it. Then they changed it. They rushed it through. They still were saying that things weren't binding because it was all on the shareholders' loans because they weren't getting the correct interest rates. Then City went, well, we'll challenge it again.
All right, let me go with a super chat here from Irish. It's very, very tough towards you, but it is what it is. Martin, we don't give a shit about you guys. We were average. You were average back in the day until Qatar money. Well, it's not Qatar money. It's it was not from Qatar, from Dubai, for Abu Dhabi. We care that the Premier League has not made it a level playing field. This has always been our wish. I don't think there needs to be,
We've got Warren there saying Sylvester needs to get his finger out as well.
Thank you. We've been saying
that City become the enemy in this. I'm a little bit football.
But you know why it's perceived that way, Martin? Because it seems like you thought this was an illegal rule, and you fought it, you battled it, and because now you and the aggressor got a deal done in closed doors. You got, in other words, you got what you wanted, which is probably to continue your deals and continue to make more money. Well, that's it. Then the rule is irrelevant anymore because now you get to do whatever you want. So now you're fine with it. So where's the moral side of this? If it's wrong,
it had to end at some point. Do we carry this on for 20 years, 30 years, or do we go to a Super League? Because if we're never going to agree with the Premier League, then we're going to a Super League. And I'd rather be in a Premier League than do any kind of stupid, wishy-washy, I don't give a damn about the football fan Super League situation.
You guys were against it, though, weren't you?
Yeah, we were. And I always will be. I've said the minute a Super League appears, the minute my 30-odd year season ticket goes in the bin, I will not back any kind of a Super League situation because I believe in the football pyramid. I believe in not leaving. That's what I was brought up on. That's what football is. But to play AC Milan and all them, that's Champions League nights, European nights. They're the nights you earn. You shouldn't just be giving them because of the name of your football club or your stature of your football club.
I think fans always. I think we need to be strong on that.
Yeah, I think everybody agrees with
I don't ever want to do a Super League. I think what La Liga did sell the soul, doing that stupid Barcelona Villarreal thing in Miami. They've sold the soul out.
But you see about the sustainability part of it, where it feels like we're getting out of control. I think something needs to be done. I mean, we're already becoming Americanized with our, is it halftime player interviews? It just feels very Americanized, and I don't know if that's because of the cartel. No offense, Chris, by the way. But I think actually,
I'm tougher. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. I actually got sense of humor. I am tougher than a 2-pound steak, so you can't get through me.
Yeah, I watched the show the other day. You and Wim were going at it. You were on the right.
Tom and Jerry, those two.
I'd mind Americanization. I think Americanization can be good.
That's exactly, you're debating the wrong person because he thinks that game in America, he wants that for the Premier League.
Full game 30 not just in America, all over the world.
You can have that in empty stadiums, Wing, because that's what you'll get with that, empty stadiums.
It's the English Premier League.
But the point I was going to make was about the draft system. I think there's something they need to do of that. I think there needs to be a balance. If you're going to spend and spend and spend, it shouldn't matter what sponsorship deals you've got. You should be punished by the more you spend, the more top academy players you lose, and you give them away for free. Like they just get put out and anybody can get them for free, which will teach you a lesson. Stop spending and you lose your top academy players, and then they will go to the likes of your Brentfords or whatever for free, and then that levels up the playing field. So just kind of what you got in the draft system, isn't it? The teams that are more near the bottom get the higher pick draft. So maybe they need to do something like that, and also like an overall just cap. Like you just need to cap the wages, cap how much you're spending, because it is becoming unsustainable.
Thank you, Tony T. Take your money, you capitalist pigs. No, it says Tony T says, "Take your money, you capitalist pig." So there you go. Well, listen, I can
just imagine with that rule, the likes of Chelsea, literally like going.
Well, we were all friends. What happened there?
I know, man. It's just
what's happened there.
But it's getting wild. But that's the thing, though. The perception, though, Martin, is that. I mean, yeah, there's no such thing. Man City is going to take care of Man City. It's a given, right? But did you think about us? Did you think about us when you labeled 115 on us? I never. What do you mean label 115?
No. I don't mean you. I don't mean you. I'm talking about club wise, because you were. You were one of the 9 who voted.
No,
for
I know, but
against that.
Is that? I never knew that was the case. Did the 115 charges? Was Newcastle United part of that?
Yeah, under Mike Ashley.
And the 100. But the 115 is just. I thought it was a recent thing. We got to go back to Mike Ashley. Well, which it wasn't that long ago, actually.
That's how long it's been going on.
When was the original case, Martin?
But wouldn't you say that now?
4 or 5 years ago.
4 years ago, no, wasn't it the original case?
A while ago. No,
But
and by
wouldn't
the
you
way,
say
I'm not
that
gonna
That
go
was
Newcastle.
before our
Yeah,
takeover.
this is not. Yeah, I agree, and that's the thing with football fans. Things always change when interests change. That's
Well,
what happens.
I've said all along, Martin, man, football was ever thus. If it wasn't Jack Walker's millions, it
Yeah,
was.
football's up.
But it's
I
always
agree
been
with
about
you.
money.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Win, right? But I think it is kind of important to kind of state that yes, there's Jack Walker's money, but and I know that was a game changer. I get it back then. But like we are talking the amounts we're talking now comparable to other teams. It is like
It's all relative, and again, PIF are in it for one reason: to make money.
All owners
Just like
are.
just like every
That's
owner is.
why
Just like
that-
every owner.
Like every owner.
Just like every owner.
Absolutely like
They've
every
not become
owner.
billionaires and trillionaires because they're not
They're
interested
not
in
these
business.
philanthropists who come and just want going to give you £1 billion.
But one of the
because they
ways you
love your
make
football
money,
club.
though, I know what you mean, Win, but one of the ways you make money, I think, is through reputation and opening other doors. And I think if they would happily overspend at a loss to win the league, etc., because it is image. And
So
if
you're
have that
going along
image-
with the whole sports washing.
Well, I think common sense tells you there's an element of that. Come on, I think like.
Well, I
I
wholeheartedly
I
disagree with
just
that.
think they can see
I
it
just
as
don't
as
see
a
what
successful
is
business venture.
what is sports watching, man. So they buy Newcastle United. Hold on, Tim. They buy Newcastle United, and Newcastle United fans, we'd say, "Wow, Saudi Arabia, an amazing country, and with amazing history." And now we love them. We're not robots, man. Newcastle fans, first of all, have no control over who owns the club.
No, I agree. Let me just come back. Sorry, I agree, Chris. And like what I would say is like to the every man and woman, I think that's absolutely right. But I just mean in terms of that soft power, I think it does have some kind of sway. And when it comes to image and when it comes to perception, it's about molding that, and it's about getting your foot in the door in different ways. And yes, me and you, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. But if we talk on, but as a collective, and also in terms of other areas in business, I just think if you're Saudi, if you're PIF, and you take over a club in England, and then you win the league, etc. And look, I'm not saying this is necessarily bad. Do you know what I mean? Like the label of sports washing, I'm not using that label. I'm just explaining part of what motives will be for any investment fund from particular countries who might want to bring themselves into this country to help their image and to cement themselves.
Washing.
Well, if that's what people want to call it, then fine. But and that's no reflection on the owners in terms of the people on the ground and the people who were hired. I thought it was really unfair when you had Amanda Staveley and you had Gadusi, and I think I'm not talking about people like that because I think their heart was in it, and they really did. They were the link between PIF and the supporters and the club. Yeah, and the fans, and they really did want to. Their heart was in it. And every club is kind of going to be run in a way where it's methodical and it's ruthless. I'm not limiting it all to Newcastle.
Warren, cheers for the £5 from earlier. I'm not going to show your comment because I don't know. You're kind of throwing me off. I'm not sure what you're saying, what you're not trying to say. So just stop referring to stuff that makes no sense. Respect everybody on the panel. Seriously, next time. I don't put us in that situation because I don't know if you're joking or not joking or what people take in or it's not acceptable. Just, relax as far as that's concerned. And we'll move on. And thank you for another £2 there. Says Martin, would you like me to chalk that tab, mate? There you go. So Warren is a jokester, but just don't put us in the middle of things that we need to be.
Yeah, football goes in stages. And you got to remember this. United spent money. You were spending lots of money in the 90s.
That's right.
When you were splashing 15 million quid on Alan Shearer, I wasn't sat in Main Road going, bloody Newcastle, what they're doing, that's not fair. It's football. It comes round
again, I don't know why we keep going. It's not about it's
I'm a bit lost on
spend
what
money.
the aggravation's about.
Well,
But
listen,
Martin, the
it's not
problem
about.
is that
Well, our aggravation is that we're not allowed to. We
No,
can't do.
and when I agree with that, it's not my fault though. I've actually,
No, I know
I've
it's
been
not
a
your
very
fault.
big advocate on Newcastle should be allowed to spend. I've
you're
never said
standing,
know
it
that.
shouldn't be.
you're standing up for it. When we spent 15 million on Alan Shearer, there was nothing stopping Man City from spending 15 million pound on a player.
Exactly.
was.
You know,
Whereas now the leagues stop us
We
doing that.
didn't have the owner to do that.
Well, no, but that's a club issue, not in regards to
No,
the
but
Why
Premier
to
is it
League
my
be
fault?
stopping you
Why is
doing
it
it.
my fault? I've been successful for 10 years and I've got to be punished for that.
But nobody's saying that. What we're saying is everybody should be on the same footing.
They
Devil's
never have
advocate,
been
though.
though. That's the point I'm making. They never have been.
But they
De-
have. There
Not
was always
financially, they haven't. Rules wise,
No,
not
but-
financially, not
well,
financially.
but
as a club.
that's only you can do.
that's the
That's the
big
only thing.
difference,
The
Martin.
rules
The
weren't in
rules.
place.
But that's
Yeah,
the only thing
I
you
agree.
can do, Martin. In life, that's the only thing you can do. I don't get to walk around saying me and you in real life outside of football. Me, you, Tim, and Jefferson. We can all be rich if we can. Now, some of us may not be able to. Some of us may be able to. But it's just life. But there's no law saying Chris Rodriguez can't be rich and Jefferson can. You know, because that is borderline. If it wasn't about football, illegal. If it's not illegal already. So Jefferson, you were saying something.
I was just gonna say, like, obviously the financial makeup of the Premier League has changed, isn't it? Because Leeds basically tried to mimic what Man United were doing, and it got them so far. They got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. I think they were regularly finishing in that top three because I think it used to be top three for Champions League back then. But then obviously they ended up backpedaling down the leagues, and obviously we saw with Portsmouth as well. They spent so much money on players and wages just for that FA Cup win, and then they got ruined as well. But I think there's something in what you're saying, Chris, is basically like, I think it's one of those ones, if you can afford it, by all means spend. I think if you can afford it as in on credit, but you're wary
No,
that you
you can't
get
do that.
yourself into debt, I think that's up to you. But 'cause I don't know what
Excellent
the
point.
situation is.
Excellent point.
Yeah,
Excellent
and
point.
that's what I
Because
agree with.
this rule says nothing about loaning your club money. And that is what Arsenal have done, Man United have done. They owe their owners money. And they did these rules, even the PSR, nothing involving this situation whatsoever. And I think that's an issue. If you're want to be, right and want to, I don't know, protect everybody from me, you Arsenal, they lend themselves money all the time. Look at Chelsea, man. Chelsea with the Enciso situation. and it's out there. It's not even like, they got caught. It's out there. So you can't try to, you got a rule for a certain thing. So, but everything else is allowed. I have an issue with that. And I'm sorry, but you will get this bit of animosity where you're coming into another fan channel, another club fan channel. But
Yeah, I know.
I'm assuming Man City fans are not going to get onto you as much. But
No, we're all, because we know what's coming in 115 as well, and we'll be vindicated in that road. Because I think 115's been, I've always said this, has been so poorly explained to the public media and to the public in general. Is that needs looking at one day, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
I've already got a 24-hour stream planned when we win 115, and we will win 115.
Well, I wouldn't put it back. I wouldn't put it. I think you might. Now, some people might think you will win because now you have a deal in place.
No, it's totally separate, and that's
you can say that, but it's against the same people.
It's not. It's not. It's not.
You know, think, Martin, like in the world of today, that when there's interests swirling and you've got two deals going on, I do find it hard to believe that there isn't some kind of like influence.
But the 115 has nothing to do with
on paper. I know it doesn't have anything to do on paper. I know that, but I'm talking behind the scenes. We're talking about people in suits here who like. Who know?
Like I said, the APT came up because in 2023, our Etihad deal had to be renegotiated, and they didn't like the value Etihad were going to give us. And when we looked at it during the 115 evidence case, as you do, you gather all your evidence to go into your hearings. Because, by the way, 115 is only a hearing. It's not a legal court. It's nothing, because we've not broke. City didn't do 115 is nothing to do with overspending.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. And somebody says there that it's a third-party panel, isn't it,
No,
connected?
what the
so-
115 is accountancy
Yeah,
procedure.
it's basically fraud. Let's call it what it is. It's fraud, is what we're being accused of. Well, Mancini's not been subpoenaed yet, even though he's been accused of tax dodging. You know, in 4 years, you've decided not to subpoena him. Come on. Well, what is this? Are we doing financials by kids here or something? Is this CBB's financial time? If you're accusing a manager of tax evasion, you're getting the law on him. You're not just asking him a question and he goes, "No, I didn't do anything."
Well, the Mancini bit of the whole jigsaw puzzle is simply the fact that he got paid £1 million or whatever it was by the bank for doing like an hour's work or whatever it was, allegedly, and
it's crazy. And listen,
so in other words, that section of his salary wasn't Man City's books.
Yeah, because it
wasn't a Man City.
They submitted to the Premier League as they were obliged to do. So
it wasn't
Man City got an extra
either.
£1 million a season without Man City paying him it. That's just that one little bit of the
but I mean, we'll see. And like I said, City I think will be cleared at 115. I've always said PSR. I disagree with it. I disagree with it within its format. I think it needs to be changed. I do think there needs to be some rules, because there will be.
Just stop people borrowing.
Yeah, if you have Wild West, you will have clubs who'll go bankrupt. Because look at Everton. Everton chased a dream and went 500 million into the red.
They got
and that's the point. They borrowed. The way to do it is stop
Aston
borrowing.
Villa. Look at Aston Villa now.
That's business
Aston
as well.
Villa is totally different. Aston Villa have put themselves in a mess, and then, because they've not learnt from it, gone and give Jadon Sancho a load of wages per week because they've not learnt from the financial mess they were previously in. That's just stupid accountancy, that.
Any business that wants to expand takes the chance of going out of business.
Yeah, but I
understand that'll happen, but I think that just becomes part of the football, the situation.
Exactly.
But I think the argument is that with the likes of PIF involved in football and others, there's no chance at all of us going out of business. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this right or wrong, but when you compare that to other clubs, if they want to chase a dream, they might well go out of business. Is that a level? Do you know what I mean? The way the landscape has changed in football is crazy compared to 30 years ago, and you would never have these consortiums involved. So this is where it's such a complicated minefield to try and make it a level playing field, while also being fair to owners who have money, who want to spend money, quite rightly, and without restricting them too much that way. So
it really isn't, because you can just say the owners to buy a club for the first time, they have 3 years to invest in it, and then after that they adapt to the rules. So that in itself,
that's different, Chris. That's tweaking the rules, and I agree with that.
But you disagree, Martin. Then we're gonna go to Jefferson. Why did you disagree?
Hush money.
Hush money. Oh, sorry. Well, listen.
Hush money.
Hush money is corrupt. It's OBS is warned in it. Jefferson, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I think there's something in there as well, though, that we have to look at ourselves a little bit as well. Because if you look at the tail of Man City, they've pushed the boundaries continuously. They've been bold, they've been ambitious, and they've also done things that they've given back to the community as well. I just think we've kind of been standing still for too long, observing, waiting like an owl in the high trees. Like, I don't know what that's about. We need to take more risks and then see what the repercussions are after. And I also think you mentioned Blueco. You know, there's models out there. Look at Man City with Girona and stuff like that, how they were able to facilitate the Savio deal. We constantly see Chelsea doing deals between themselves and Strasbourg. why haven't we acquired a portfolio? We're 4 years in. It's not hard to get a club in South America and a club in Europe, and you move players around, which then means you're not having to spend so much on transfer fees, and you can put it towards other things. I just think we've not been savvy enough. We've not been bold enough. We've not taken risks. Even Aston Villa sold their women's football club. I'm not saying our women's football club is going to be worth even half of it, but we've got to do something to
It's
accumulate
revenue.
funds. So we
I'm-
play
I'm-
it too safe. We have to look at ourselves as well.
Can-
We are,
can-
as
that's
we
true.
should say, we are
Hold on, let me-
pussies.
Can I be honest,
There you go.
Chris? And I get
Hold on,
it.
let me get to some super chats real quick. Let me get some super chats. Tony T says PSR affects the fans. Look at how many shirts the club has churned out. To squeeze the fans for every penny recently. I am now. Am I now a pay piggy or a piggy bank? Yeah. And thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Warren says, I think PIF were told from the start, do as you're told. Well, I mean,
In order for them to become a fit and proper.
Yeah, but now you become a part of it. They can't really tell you that anymore.
I'm
Or else it would be.
honest. And this is just me, and this is just my opinion. I've said this on other channels. I don't think you're asking enough questions to your owners.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
trust me.
absolutely. I think we've all said that.
Everybody can speak to themselves. I asked the question that I think there are tough questions nobody wants to ask. When thinks everything is great, and some others follow suit. So I think it's everybody's entitled to have their own say. Now, for what it's worth, it's really not worth much because they don't listen to us. But it is what it is.
We're customers.
We're just customer, and so we pay. That's the thing. PIF or Newcastle United have put up so much merch to buy, and we fans buy it. And even amidst the whole transfer window debacle, what it was to a certain time, they were still pushing out merchandise, and fans weren't too happy about it because they couldn't buy a player at the time, and still. The club was trying to get
financially now. Shouldn't you now be in a situation where there is no PSR issues anymore?
Well, there isn't. Yeah,
130 mil ish.
Yeah.
So for the next 5 years, you can go on a spending spree.
Yeah, I think we can, but
it's
will
now be able to spend more than other clubs.
But it's not about patting us on the head.
But still,
now you can
with FFP and PSO. Nowhere near as much because it's revenue governed. How much you can spend is governed by the revenue you generate.
Mm-hmm.
And we.
But it's times 5. You know that win. What's 70% of 130 mil times 5? Well,
those rules aren't in yet. Those rules
that's
aren't in yet.
That's what I mean, though. But
if they come in, that'll be.
You've got a chunk of change. You've got more money than. For example, you could spend more than Arsenal next summer if I worked out my figures right. With that, you're just on the Isaac signing.
Because Arsenal can just say, well, now we got a new deal, and because we're Arsenal and we're in London and people in it. You see how you get into this business, and we always in the losing end.
That's your owners, Chris. That's where your owners. Surely by now there has to be a training ground sponsor. There has to be a training kit sponsor. There has to be something that the owners. Why aren't they doing that?
Well, as I've said, I think they've held off doing it until this particular case, not the 115, the ATP case was resolved. And really, it's a question now for me, if I'm sitting in PIF shoes, as to, well, what does this mean? Can we now go and do a deal to the same value as the Etihad deal and the Abu Dhabi Bank deal? And if we do that, we then get challenged and we say, hey, no more than what City are getting. And if that is the point that they turn around,
they're going to challenge it.
But you're not allowed to do that because you haven't had.
No, because you're asking beyond market value. Then,
well, what's market value? What is market value?
So, and I keep bringing it. Can Brentford and Fulham chuck in £100 million deal then?
If they can get £100 million sponsor,
if they can get 100, exactly. What is going on here, man? We're trying to, what's crazy? And not to get it political, but we try to say our league won't be taken over by a country or a side of the country or the world rather, that they have certain beliefs, and we don't believe in that. We believe it, but we are technically doing what we're trying to stop. You know, we're being that because we're a regiment, and we don't allow other clubs to do what they should be free to do. It's again, we keep going around the same circle all the time.
No,
And
the
we
bit
keep
I
asking,
don't
well,
understand is how is a St James's Park deal the same as an Etihad deal?
well,
Oh,
first
is
of all,
it
you can
not?
say, well, you can say, well, I don't know if you, but you should still get a lot of money because around the world, a lot of people watch the Premier League. A lot of people will watch Newcastle United. A lot of people, by just Newcastle United on its own, but a lot of people will watch Newcastle United against Liverpool, against Man City, against Man United, against Chelsea, against. A lot of people will watch Newcastle United in the Champions League against Barcelona.
In
So
terms of worldwide exposure, which is what advertising's all about, what sponsorship's all about, Ipswich get as much exposure.
no.
as what
See, I disagree
Newcastle
with
do,
that. That is nonsense.
except in
No,
the
no.
number of games that they have. But
No.
Ipswich.
No, but they're not. When there's figures that prove out there are more.
No.
clubs.
What I'm saying
no,
is
see-
Ipswich play. Man City's on every game, so Ipswich are on twice when they're playing Man City. So the name on their shirt is getting exactly the same exposure as the name on
No,
Man
but it
City's
ain't though,
shirt.
man. No.
And they're doing
Yeah,
it
that's
for Man City, you know, for all the clubs that do get the
yeah,
most,
but
the
in
most
in
TV
itself,
exposure.
hold
So
on,
that-
win. I get your point, but see now we were doing good, man. We were doing good. Now you lost us the debate for no reason. You know, Ipswich cannot compare to Newcastle United, with all due respect to Suffolk and all the people out there. You know, they just can't. So you can't use the argument, man.
Why not?
Brand
First of all-
the
brand
sponsorship is specifically designed
First of all,
at a global
thank you.
television audience.
because
Thank you. Hold on. Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Tony T, for the super chat earlier on. Thank you, £2. You're still cheaper than TV license. So there we go. To watch us. So there you go. But come on, man. We're not going to sit here and now start talking about Luton. When they were in the Premier League, they should be getting the same deal as. Well,
When
maybe
Luton
they
were in
should.
the Premier League, they were on
But they
20 times worldwide.
But they couldn't. They couldn't justify
Regardless
it.
of the fact that it's Luton, their shirt
And
is
what
getting
league are they in
seen.
now? And what league are they in now with?
Well, you know, that's irrelevant.
No, but it isn't because the sponsor.
Town, though, is it? Luton
Well,
Town
sponsor-
are there going, we've got all this money while we're in League One.
We're still growing,
no,
though,
because
isn't
Luton
it?
decided not to spend.
Yeah, but
it.
we're not a small team though, man.
We're still
Exactly,
growing, isn't it?
yeah.
Because that's why we've gone out to South Korea. And remember, I think was it Darren Ills' interview? He was like, basically, we're trying to get neutrals and
Come
new
on,
fans
man.
to support Newcastle United because they didn't have an awareness of our club. And one of the reasons we got
Well,
him
some
was his
do.
success with Atlanta as well. So we were able to kind of hurl a lot of American fans to support our club. And so if you see, we've started going to Asia because the Asian market's big. So that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to pull in now because we're still in that stage of growth in terms of like worldwide
Yeah,
exposure.
of
I
course,
agree with-
of course,
I
we're
agree
still in the
with-
world.
Remember Australia? I know we were desperate for money, but I think part of that was the sort of marketing and
But
exposure.
Australia's tiny,
we-
man,
we-
population-wise.
But what I'm
No
saying
one
is,
did that in
we
Ipswich
went
Town
on tour
over
to Australia.
in Australia.
to pick up
not
5
One at a
million
time. One at a time.
wasn't it? We put our bloody academy players to get smashed 10-1 or whatever it was
Yeah,
against
man.
the Australia
swear.
All Stars. So that's
I've
the
been-
stage we're at. Like City and all those guys are a different level. We're still like building up. It's gonna take
Right.
time.
What
I'm-
Tim
no,
kinda
hold on.
said,
What
there's
I'm
Win.
saying is,
no
it's
cheat
all
code.
about sponsorship. It's all about advertising. What advertisers want exposure. And when
Yeah,
there's
but you-
22 people on a football pitch, it doesn't matter whether we're in the red of Man United or the blue of Ipswich, whatever sponsor's name is on their shirt is there for 90 minutes, just the same as the opposition. So that is the
Win.
exposure that you're getting.
Win.
Just a quick question on that. You're on about Ipswich. So you're saying us and Ipswich would get the same sponsorship because we've got the same amount of exposure around the world?
No,
Yeah?
no, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that
That's what you're
Ipswich
saying.
should be getting far, far more than they are getting
No, yeah, we're not gonna.
By virtue of the fact that they're getting almost the same. Okay,
Listen,
they're probably
man,
on
for
probably
it-
10 or 12 games a year less.
Chris, can I
For
just
it-
ask you a quick question? Sorry, I'm just
No.
because I think I know what he's doing. Just from
Well,
my,
he ain't doing shite. That's the problem.
I know Win. I think Win wants to live in this little land where everyone's happy as Larry and everyone's on the same level play. Win, you want to be a mega club, don't you? You want to be up there as one of the top clubs in the whole, or be the number one club.
Absolutely.
Respect, and this is going to sound awful, and I hate saying this, but this is just a fact where we stand at the minute. You will not get there by caring about the others down below.
Well, no, 100%. But it's not even about caring. It's about what you can do and what you can't do.
I don't think
You've got to be
Ipswich.
ruthless.
I don't think Ipswich
care
getting
about
more
you.
money.
But they
I
should.
don't think
You're a
Ipswich
bigger
getting more
club than
money
Ipswich.
is going to affect us getting more money.
Of course it
Let
will.
me just say
You
something,
get-
right? The thing
you
is,
get
Win, I understand,
£5
Win, where you're coming from. I do, honestly, because you've got the same amount of eyeballs on that sponsor as you have with Liverpool's sponsor, for example. But I think one of the reasons why it can be justified that one club gets more money than the other is because it's brand association. And that company will happily pay more money to have their brand associated with a club that is up
That
there
wins.
and wins
Yeah,
things.
I absolutely
I
agree.
think that's a factor.
Yeah, but you know, here's the thing, man. Hold on. Thank you, Warren Denning, for the super chat. Well, Foxy, yeah, he's having a stinker. We know that, but I'm about to address that right now. Warren Denning, thank you for the super chat. Says Amanda is getting involved with Spurs. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. So thank you, Warren, again for the super chat. We're gonna. She's not getting involved, by the way, but we're gonna talk about that. And Win is gonna suffer again because he got Amanda tattooed and he wanted a bust put out for her.
Yes, please.
For an hour and 60 minutes, we've been arguing, having a good, sensible debate. We're having a good conversation. And then you just, 5 of us against a Man City fan. And you has just completely lost us
never
the
been
debate.
against a Man City fan.
You have bottled it tonight, man. For an hour, we just wasted an hour and a half. Why would you bring in Ipswich and Luton? Luton have, with all the respect, do you see a Luton Emirates at any point?
Simply saying what a
No.
sponsorship deal is
No,
worth.
no. A sponsorship, because what Martin is saying is 100% correct. Because if you can pay Luton the same, Luton deserves the same amount of money as Newcastle United, then the advertiser will just say, all right, 25 million each to advertise me. Instead of looking at how they actually look at it, and it's Luton and Newcastle, nowhere near the same exposure. So we're just going to have the 50 million to Newcastle because we're going to get our money's worth here. But, you know, you can't do that. You can't argue that
what
for
do you call your
Ipswich, for
money's
Luton.
worth? I
for-
agree
for
entirely with
Brentford.
Tim, by the way, that yes, sponsors do want to be associated with successful brands. So I agree with all of that, which will
You can't say,
will skew the thing. But by
Listen.
and large, when you are advertising, you're paying for exposure.
Thank God.
but Luton doesn't have the same exposure as Newcastle United, man.
Only
You got to
because
realize
it's
that.
not on as often.
Why would I sign a 5-year deal with Luton when it's in the Premier League? When by the next season they could be relegated in the twat
Okay,
shit,
so
man?
you have that in the contract, you daft bugger. You just say if you get relegated, you don't get this anymore. You get
Why would you even
instead.
waste time on all of that, man? What?
Because
Man,
your
listen.
brand is still being shown worldwide but to millions and millions of people.
When we
Millions.
we play Barcelona in a couple of weeks' time.
Fucking
Are you
hell.
trying to say our brand isn't going to be shown all over the sponsorships aren't going to be shown all over the world there? Who do
course they
Luton
are.
play? Who do Luton play?
Well, that's why obviously Champions League exposure increases.
Right, so for example, if Ipswich Town were playing Burnley, would that pull in a worldwide audience?
It will, insofar that the Premier League generally pulls in a worldwide audience. But
News-
not as
even
much as
if we
Barcelona v
accept that it
Newcastle.
wouldn't, Burnley are playing Chelsea twice, Man U twice, so half of their season is against quality clubs, you might say, who are going to be shown. So
That's why the
it's good.
Super League was so bad. You take the Stowe 6 out of it, that's what they were arguing. What you're left with. Nobody's going to come and buy the naming rights for the Premier League without them 6 in.
I disagree.
Oh, well, To
me, when they wanted the Super
what
League,
you're telling me is a Toyota is on the same road as a BMW, but a Toyota is the same value as a BMW.
Yeah, man, come on.
I'm telling you
man.
nothing of the sort.
You are. You're much bigger than Ipswich with respect to Ipswich. You're one of the biggest clubs in the league.
Say that again,
What
boy.
I'm trying to say, get your owners to act like I'm on your side. I'm backing you.
No, don't come on this
I
side now.
agree with all of that as well. All I'm saying is that from an advertising point of view, as long as you're getting the exposure, it's worth the money. And you're going to get more exposure if you're Liverpool, cartel, Big Six, call it what you will, than you are if you're Ipswich.
Again, I hate to use my car analogy. Why is a Mercedes 50 grand more than a
man? When I can't believe you're trying to.
If Mercedes-Benz, let's say, are sponsoring a football team,
yeah,
right? Who's going to see their name on the shirt more, whether if they're playing for Man United or if they're playing for Ipswich?
Man United.
Okay, they're going to say more Man U because Man U are on the telly, on the Premier League, on a worldwide basis more. But
Not
every single Premier League game now is broadcast live. It's not going to get the same audience if it's Burnley v Ipswich, but it is going to get the same audience if it's Burnley versus Man United.
The same amount of people.
Those Burnley shirts just as much as you are Man United shirts. That's all advertisers are interested in.
Man.
So how come Adidas don't pay all their clubs the same amount of money then?
There you go.
Because they don't sell the same amount of shirts.
Exactly. There's more pull for one than there is for other.
There's more demand for Man City shirts than there is for Ipswich shirts.
I found the amount of televised games per club last season. Arsenal had 28 games, followed by Spurs, who had 26. Liverpool had 25. Man United had 25. Man City had 25.
Just go to the bottom of the league.
Chelsea had 22. Everton had 19. We had 19. So we were 8th.
Yeah, so go to the bottom.
Villa had 18. West Ham had 16. Forest had 15. Brentford 14. Wolves 14. Crystal Palace 13. Brighton 11. Sheffield United 10. Luton 10. Okay, this is older then. Bournemouth 9. So maybe this is 20.
Right, so those 10 would be when they played. So you could argue there that who had the most? Chelsea had... Arsenal had the most.
Arsenal had
28. So 3 times more exposure they had. And that's just live, by the way.
It's crazy. I want to tell folks this in the chat because the people want to obliterate Mighty Wayne right now. He's not trying to lie to you. He really believes it's nonsense. So you just gotta, like crazy people, you just gotta nod your head. Yeah, you're right, mate. And you just keep on going, man. You're not arguing with a rock. It's pointless. Warren Denning
what
says,
I'm saying is, by Jefferson's very own stats.
I told you you're right, man.
By Jefferson's very own stats,
win.
Arsenal, who had 29 games, did you say?
28.
Arsenal had 28, and the bottom one was Bournemouth with 9.
Yeah, it was like 9 or 10.
So Arsenal are worth 3 times more in exposure than what Bournemouth are.
But they're not. I mean, can I just... I will leave you alone in a minute, I promise. I just want to... These are the shirt sponsors and the values of their sponsorship deals from last season. But United were actually top front of sponsor. They had a kit supply value of 90 million, 170 million in total. Then City 150, Liverpool 137, Arsenal 125, and so on. Newcastle was 6 at 72.5. You were bigger than Chelsea, actually. Do you know? I'll give you the bottom 4. Ipswich 6 million in total. Brentford 9.5. Southampton 10.2. Bournemouth 10.5. No sponsorships.
Oh, right, because that's Ed Sheeran, isn't it?
Yeah, because Ipswich gets 6. And you got 7, what was it, 70?
70 odd.
So are you saying Ipswich should get 70 odd?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Man, listen.
But I'm saying they should be getting more than
Fuck
6.
it. No, hey, listen, man. Time out.
Can I just say something, right? I'll just, because I need to head off in a minute, right? I'll just make a few points, right? Is that okay? Cheers. I think in regards to like the focus on Newcastle and what we are doing or not doing, to Martin's point, I think this summer has brought about a bit more attention to that. Do you know what I mean? With regards to what's happening with our CEO, or there wasn't one there. Now we've appointed one. Now this Man City case is, this particular case is being sorted. I think there will be more eyeballs on us and on the board and on PIF as to what they're doing and how they're communicating and what plans they're putting in place and the speed at which they move. I think, that will happen now, and rightly so. And just the second point is that, it's been said before, but I'll go back to it. This whole PSR stuff was to do about level playing field. Well, so on the face of it, it wasn't really, but on the face of it, that's what they're saying, level the playing field, right? Once again, I have to say that rewind back to between 2007 and 2021, there was no noise whatsoever about a fair level playing field when Mike Ashley was driving down our commercial revenue, was preventing Newcastle from growing, from being the club we were when we were literally up there in terms of commercial revenue. He came in and drove us down and was essentially happy for us to be 17th and was not maximising deals that were no doubt out there that we could have got. During those years, clubs leaped ahead of us, like Spurs. So they were behind us. They leaped ahead, and now we're left picking up the pieces, trying to get back up there in terms of the commercial revenue. And we have climbed up a little bit, obviously, because of what we've done on the pitch as well, has allowed us, to do that to an extent. But I just think it's always worth mentioning the fact that we were screwed over those years, and the Premier League and other clubs weren't bothered one iota and quickly forget about that period. And the last thing is up the tractors.
Up the track. Yeah, I know. It's Ipswich Talk TV, man.
I can't read, no, I can't write, but I can drive a tractor.
I just sent you that, Chris, because I said that's why we're getting the big bucks.
Oh my God!
Listen, this is not. I want to make this very clear, because I think people. I am all for Newcastle getting up there. Do I agree with PSR? No, never have done. I think it's changed football. A friend of mine says what you need is all owners, when they come in, should have like an escrow account or something where all the money can go in, and you go, right. If we pull out, we've got a safety net. That I agree with. But I don't think
this is the stadium you're going by.
Can be. Yeah, that's a 5-star hotel, shops, restaurants, galore going in the front.
Well, we have, there's no rules against that, by the way. You can build whatever you want.
You can get that without, but that your owners 100%. Have to put that money in. They can put money into extensions.
Lads, it's been emotional. I need to head off. Thanks for that. Good to catch up, lads.
Take care, everybody.
So, thank you, Warren Denny, there for a super chat. I've got Amanda tattooed too, but when I get excited, you get the Stavely bit too. There you go.
Wendy got Wendy tattooed on me dick, but when I'm excited, it says,
"Shut up, man! What
have a nice day."
This dude, man. Why do you have to take it that far, man? Why do you have to take it that far? Anyways,
it's 11 o'clock at night, man.
It doesn't matter. People watch this on replay, man. Anyways, let me see. The Mighty MILF Magician official fan account says, "Is that Norris from Coronation Street or Win?" Win is just listen. I give up on the debate because we're having a good debate, and this guy just shitted on. We've been doing this for an hour or so. And he just destroyed it with the comparison with Ipswich, man. That's just unbelievable. So, Martin, you win the debate, man. You win. There's
no debate for me. It's to me, this isn't anything against Newcastle. For me, this is one up the Premier League. The Premier League have had to allow our Etihad deal to go through. This is where,
Yeah.
Can I just ask you a quick question, Mon? Do you ever miss the days before you got took over, when you were that club that was sort of, scrapping around?
I've had this debate with many Newcastle friends of mine of listen, I've said you want to be successful, you have to sell your soul. And if you believe you don't, listen, I was one of them 10 years ago. It was sat in the kit packs or stood in the kit packs with my dad, thinking, oh, great, this is it, £5 a ticket, watching them over the road, stick it in my face every single day. I loved it. Wembley 99, Gillingham. And do I love this? Yes, but the soul has gone a little bit. But it's one of them, you get on the train, you get off the train. You want to be, you have to make a decision. And Rome wasn't built in a day. Newcastle will get there. But this is the thing people get. City got taken over in 2008. It's 2025. This is nearly a 20-year journey. You're only 3-4 years in.
Well, but you started on your successful. As you said, you've been in the Champions League for 16 of those years.
Yeah, it's like people go, well, City were a little club. We were winning trophies in the 50s and the 60s.
Oh, absolutely.
We've still got, the Belley and Summerby days. We've got the highest attendance in UK football, still held to this day outside of Wembley Stadium. People talk about City, and it's I think where City fans get upset is it's the disrespect we get given. When you go back to 1990, City's was everyone's second team. Used to hear from everyone, if I could, best fan base, 34,000 in League One. Look at them, they're filling Main Road out against crap. And now people are just wanting to destroy us because we've got owners from a side of the world that people don't like.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what it is.
Well, and that's what we're suffering. We got rules.
But unfortunately, I was said this to loads. Stay on the train, I got off. But if you think this is about a family club and up to daisy and tickets for a tenner, well, those days are gone.
Yeah, no, they're long gone. Cheers, Warren, again. Says, I love Main Road, the best meat and potato pies ever. There you go. Cheers. Cheers, Warren. Appreciate it. We got some Newcastle United news to move on to. So, Martin, if you want to stay, if you want,
I'll leave you be, lads. Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers,
mate. Take care.
Nice
Have a
to
good
meet
one,
you.
brother. Have a good one, brother. That was Martin. Go subscribe to the Mancunian Way on YouTube and have a good interaction there with Mr. Martin. All right, so happy birthday, Lewis Hall. It was his birthday. It is his birthday. It still is his birthday today. So, Bogeddon, I don't know if you had a chance to watch us early on today on the show. And shame on Mighty Win, because he says that, first of all, he says Livramento is better than Lewis Hall. And he says that Livramento should be getting paid near, just marginally below Tonali. Exactly his words. And again, he's even somebody said it in the chat, you're wrong again, like you were earlier this afternoon. What do you make of that man? It's just
I did watch a video that was actually commenting on it in regards to that. I think Miley and Tino should maybe be put on £120,000 a year contracts, both of them.
Miley?
Not Miley, sorry. Tino and Hall should be put on £120 million contracts a year. But Tonali should be well more than that. He needs to be
120 million. You say 120 a week.
£120,000 a week. Tonali needs to be on 200k, maybe it's a little bit more. Plus, you can't compare Tonali to
down to the three stooges of the.
You can't compare Tonali to Tino. Tino's a great player, but he plays in a different position, and he's not world class. Tonali is touching on, if not already, over world class.
Oh yeah, no, he is definitely.
Well, I agree with that. And I agree with that this afternoon. All I'm saying is that Tino is fast.
He's not better than Lewis Hall.
Class.
He's not. Lewis
Well,
Hall's season.
I think right now he is.
But Lewis Hall's season last season is much better than anything you've seen from Livramento. And that is the issue until he broke his ankle. And then, but that's what you give someone ungrateful fans. That you forget. You forget. You can't forget. Because the guy was literally the best left back in the league. And quite honestly, if he's able to play, he'll probably start for England. So will Livramento start? You can argue that he should, but apparently Tuchel is not doing it. I will agree with you on Dan Burn. I think he's been really quality, but to compare him with Tonali, like you do him a disgrace, and that's the problem. The disservice.
Who do I do a disservice to?
Tonali.
Comparing him with Tonali because no, I'm saying to Livramento because he's
comparing the other way.
Yeah, because why Livermento's sitting around in his couch and saying, why is this guy comparing me to Tonali? Now I gotta be a rock star every game. Relax. It's like the same.
Well, that's what I want
using
him
the
to
comparison, using the comparison, for example, with Eddie Howe and elite managers. You don't have to do that. Let the man build his own career. Let the man do his own thing. You don't have to compare him to elite managers or elite players because you're doing him a disservice. Now he has to be a rock star, and he's still a young guy. He's still figuring it out. He's doing his thing. But why would you ever want to? If you put Tonali, it's my belief that Tonali needs to be the highest paid player, $250 million. And if you say that Livramento should be marginally below Tonali, that means it needs to be on 250 and 230. I'm sorry, or at least 200. Could you imagine Livramento on $200K a week? Not even Gordon or Bruno.
As I explained this afternoon, if Man City signed him, that's what they would be offering him.
We should have asked Mancini away because I know Martin, if you're listening, would you pay Livramento $250K a week or 200K or 230? Would you think City would pay him? No way they would pay him that. No way. Warren says in the chat, for once I agree with Chris, Hall and Tino is incorrect. And I don't think Hall needs to be on that amount of money either. He needs to be on a lot more money than he's getting paid. I think they should be on 120, 130 if allowed. But when you start going past 150,
all I'm saying is if that's the case, we won't hang on to them.
But if you pay Tino say £230,000 a week, how much is Bruno then going to want?
No, I'm not saying paying him to 230 pounds.
So how much you saying paying?
Tony T, good man.
Well, there you go. Well, and good job, Tony T, and good strategy, Mighty Win, to just instead of answering the question that Bogey put up.
Well, what I'm saying is that I think Tino and Hall should be on. Not so much Hall just yet. I'm saying what Tino has done.
Not so much Hall.
The back end of last season and this season, especially when he was playing left back.
Man,
I think he's been a better left back than he is a right back.
So exactly. So what do you do with why says? What do you do with John Stones that's on $209K a week? What would you do with that?
But John Stones is finished. I'm saying Kyle Walker.
John Stones is finished.
Coming to the end for me.
Win, come on, man. Win.
You're
losing about it. John Stones is one of the best center backs in England, man. Not performing better than Burn, and I will give you that. Not performing better than Marquis. Marquis is sought out by Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona. But to say he's finished, man, and if that's your rule, then
John Stones is 31.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I would tell you Livramento is nowhere near mature enough to get that money, that amount of money.
When can you answer the question? And how much would you pay just Tino? Then how much would you pay Tino a week?
I'd put him up there with J7 now, 150.
You think they got the same importance?
Tonali. So you've changed from this afternoon to now.
Exactly.
No, I'm saying Tonali should be on 250.
Yeah,
but you said Tino should be just behind him. It's a hell of a lot behind him.
Chris said I said that. I didn't say that.
You said marginally below Tonali. Don't lie, man. You said that.
You didn't, because I watched the show.
Exactly, man. Get out of here, man.
Okay, let's be semantic. Define marginally. Prove that we're wangers. Prove that we're wangers.
Come on, man.
We are knackered.
Win. It is what it is, man. You listen. You lost. That's fine. And listen, just take an L, man. Why you gotta keep trying to go around and around? And the chat he is not trying to win.
Did I say at any time you should be paid as much as Tonali? No, I didn't.
You say marginally below
he needs
Tonali.
To be way above what he is now. Way above.
You say marginally below Tonali, so that's my worry. But yeah, if you say better than he is now, yeah, I agree with you on that. Not better than Lewis Hall, though. I think Lewis Hall has proven to done better. Well, okay, it is what it is.
I think now Tino's a better prospect than Lewis Hall. And I love Lewis Hall, by the way. I think Lewis Hall's fantastic.
I hated to see if you hated him. The man breaks his ankle.
You're all of a sudden starting to love Big Dan Burn, who we have called relentlessly for a season.
But you know what's crazy? But that is the problem with you, Win. You think that I sit here and love or hate.
You've got a agenda.
Hold on. No, I don't. You think that I love or hate or no. I say what I see. Plain and simple.
You see what you
I say what I see. And I see Dan Burn is performing well. Perfect. I give him praise when I need praise. I criticize when I need to criticize. I don't have this obsession with players.
To give Dan Burn praise.
Not at all, because I'm saying it. I don't have an obsession with players, man, like you do. Nothing Dan Burn does. You have not criticized Dan Burn once ever. In that there. Now you have heard me praise and no, you haven't.
Actions.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
you
I have.
Nobody here has ever heard you. People in the chat, let us know. Have you ever heard Win criticize Dan Burn you've criticized Eddie Howe and then you come back right into call us all bedwetters. But Dan Burn, have anybody out there heard, whether you're listening or you're watching, ever heard Win say anything criticizing Dan Burn's performance? Ever? No, they haven't. You have heard me praise Dan Burn and criticize Dan Burn. Would you look at that? Of the objective mind, plain and simple. So anyway, Mighty Win in the mud.
Have I criticized Harvey Barnes? No. Have I criticized Isaac? No.
Yes, I have. Not too long ago, I've said he doesn't need to be a starter. When you said that's what I want.
As much as I've criticized BD, baby. There you go.
No, you haven't, man. I'm on record saying that. Anyways, so look at that new tops. The club has put out some. Terrace Icons range. What is that? Is currently being sent to Mag Plus. Mag Plus member. You got to be a member to buy merch. That's kind of weird.
No, you get first go at them before everybody else.
Let me tell you something.
Thank you again, Warren. Always trying to take Win out. The vultures.
No, we're not. He digs himself into a hole. Come on now, super chatting, put him back in jail. So, by the way, you want to go see Newcastle's first Carabao Cup game since that famous night at Wembley? Well, you can do that if you're a Mag member. Ballot for our home clash with who are we playing?
Bradford City.
No, Bradford City. So you can go do that. The ballot is open now for Mag's members. So go on and get your tickets if you're not sleepy season ticket holder like Mighty Win. And do that. Jonathan Woodgate talking about Mr. Botman and how he can become a Woodgate. We don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully he becomes better.
Well, he's being exactly a Woodgate at the minute with his superb performances interspersed by lengthy injuries.
I don't see the superb performances either. I think it's pretty good, but that's superb. As much as I don't.
Well, hey, by the way, I agree with that as well. But how many arguments have I had with you about that he isn't all?
No, never. At the time when he was playing better than Byrne, yeah, I would rather see Botman.
Well, I don't think he's ever been playing better than Byrne.
Okay, well, exactly per my point.
Just because of the name and because he's young and
not at all.
And everybody.
Not at all.
Chose not.
See, and by the way,
the majority of the time that Burns played with Botman, Byrne was at left back anyway.
And that's the problem, isn't it? So Woodgate, and I still with Woodgate, people say that he's the greatest center back ever. nonsense. He's never been the greatest center back ever. Anybody that plays one season is not in some with injuries is not the best center back ever. He might have been a good prospect. No, he wasn't.
Best centre back I've ever seen in a black and white shirt.
Well, that means you're sleeping a lot. That's the issue. You need to take some Red Bull when you go to the stadium, mate. Because no, he wasn't. He was a good prospect. Looked really good. Sold him, and he was never in. Come on, man. But he did speak though, really good. Let's take a listen to Woodgate.
I'm not so sure. They might buy a few players, but who's going to sell them?
Yeah.
So it's what Eddie Howe will do at that club is he'll improve the players tenfold because he's that type of coach, and the coaching staff he's got there, he'll improve players. But it isn't going to be easy. But I hope they do well because the fans are special.
What was your first game at St James's?
Chelsea, I think. Chelsea debut. Chelsea.
And is it a proper noise when you walk out?
The noise is like ridiculous. It's like 56,000, but it's like something that I've never heard really before from fans like that because it's a one club city, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're just constantly on you. I played my best football in Newcastle.
Did you?
Best football.
And why was that? Because of Bobby Robson?
I'd say it was that because of that. Yeah, I was super confident to be honest with you.
Who was your centre half partner?
Either Andy O'Brien or Titus Bramble.
See, I'm not being like disrespectful, but I would think your best football would be played like that with Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, no.
Did you like that better? Maybe that you were the main man in that centre defence.
I wouldn't say. I just said I played my best football there. I don't know what it was. I played some outstanding football when I was at Newcastle. I'm not big-headed, but
yeah,
I definitely did.
Yeah,
So there you go, Woodgate, and what do you think about that? Spot on about the fan. Yeah. Doesn't mean he's the best centre back in the history of Newcastle United, though. That's kind of disrespect. That's disrespecting other.
You can't tell me who's the best centre back I've ever seen.
He's the best centre back you've ever seen.
In a black and white shirt.
Oh, I was going to say, bloody hell.
No, but I still disagree with that. I mean,
you cannot disagree with it. It's my opinion.
No. Yeah, you can have that opinion. 100%. You can absolutely have that opinion. Your opinion is wrong, though. So
all I know is if you ask anybody of any age at all to name the all-time best Newcastle 11, Jonathan Woodgate will be in it.
The fact is that you are being disrespectful to Philippe Albert, for example, right? And that just to start with, what about the one that won an international cup, Bobby Mancour, right? I think that's why we just need to start the brain matter. We can just do this and then start kicking back on.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
No, because Bobby Mancour, great as he was, and I love him to bits, couldn't lace Woodgate's boots. And I love Bobby Mancour.
I remember Steve Howe.
Steve Howe couldn't lace Woodgate's boots.
No, but you're talking about as far as skills that you might hope and see
I'm talking
that what
about
you like.
being the best centre back I've ever seen.
His performances for Newcastle United for the longer period. You're talking about history. Newcastle United history. You're gonna pick a man that played for Newcastle for a season, man.
Well, I'm picking him as the best I've seen, so I'm talking about since 1963.
Yeah. Well, I just think
when
it's a bit
of
Bogey, do you agree with that?
You're going to hate us, yeah, Chris, but I do. I think Woodgate was the best central defender we've ever had. He wasn't reliable, so he certainly wasn't the most reliable player we've ever had.
So can you be the best ever if you're not reliable?
Well,
you talk about the best ever.
It depends what eyes you're looking through, but just based on skills and the fact that he's a central defender, he was the best central defender. Albert was a great player.
Glenn Roeder.
I always said it's Albert and Woodgate that I would have.
Well, that's it. But
no,
Albert was probably ever in the back four. Was the problem? He was normally half up the pitch.
I forgot this. One of my favorite players ever, Fabrizio Colaccini, did for Newcastle United more than Woodgate could ever dream of.
But got relegated.
No, he got us relegated when. He got us relegated. You see what I'm saying? No. You see what I'm saying? Woodgate, if he played for us when we got relegated, he would have been relegated.
What did Colaccini do in the life of Brian? What did the Romans ever do for us? What did Colaccini ever do for us? Great player, love him.
What do you mean? What did Woodgate do anything? What did Woodgate do anything for us?
All I'm saying is Woodgate
He
plays
played.
fantastic football.
No. See, again, you're not thinking straight, man. And I think Bogey's not sitting straight either.
Well, of
You know,
course we're
because
not. No, only
because
you
people
can think straight.
no. Because if you said my favorite center back is Woodgate, fair play. Let's talk about something else. But you are sentencing he is the greatest center back ever. And Darren Peacock.
Is the best.
Darren Peacock.
Fuck off, Darren Peacock, man.
Come on, man. Hey, man. Fuck off. The disrespect, man. The disrespect, Terrence, I agree with Wayne. Woodgate was one of the best. Shame on his head. But to me, you can't. To me, you can't separate the waste, because Tony says wasted potential. You can't separate the injuries. He's not reliable. You can't. You can't separate them. It's like saying Rashford is the great.
Real. He went to Real Madrid. Are they good enough for
he
you?
didn't. Yeah, they are good enough.
The Real
although
Madrid
Madrid
saying donkeys. There's no other centre half that Real Madrid have ever
No,
signed.
that's good, but you got to perform. You got to perform. Just like Eden Hazard was a waste. So you got to perform. And Real Madrid fans don't even know who Woodgate was. So that's the right now. You ask a Real Madrid fan, remember Woodgate? Nah, man, I don't remember him. So it's plain and simple.
I think we're talking skill.
Yeah, you think you're talking about your favorite is what you like to see. But not for what they did for the club.
What we're not saying is that he's the best club player ever to play at centre back. So I agree, Colaccini did a lot more for the club than Woodgate did. I agree, Peacock did. I agree, Albert did. But
Nikos Davies did better than.
Well, Davies asked for me. If you're looking for a servant,
just based on skill, Woodgate was the best ever central defender.
There's no doubt about it.
So we're not saying he's the best player for Newcastle. We're saying he's the best.
So you can say. Well, so you should say he's the best one. My favorite.
Elegant would have been Hall of Fame. There you go.
Would have been, woulda, shoulda, coulda. What are we talking about? It's like saying Rashford is the greatest left wing ever for Man United. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. We don't know that. It's just based on assumptions.
No, based on assumptions.
Pure assumptions, man. But anyway, listen, I like Woodgate. Really good center back. Super skilled, unbelievable. Really good center back. He wasn't the best center back for Newcastle United in its history. We tend to throw those terms out there. World class.
I didn't say
greatest ever.
I said the best I've ever seen.
Okay, well, so he's your favorite center back. That's it. Philippe Albert, I am sorry. For the bottom of my heart, I apologize. Somebody get this message to him. Philippe Albert, I'm sorry that these infidels are destroying your legacy as a Toon player. Darren Peacock, really good player for it. And Mighty Win, just... What did you say about Darren Peacock? Don't repeat it, please. Don't repeat it. Darren, sorry, man. Forgive us for what we know what to say, whatever the phrase is. Forgive us, Darren Peacock. Nikos Dabi says...
They know not what they do.
Colaccini.
You're supposed to be the Christian.
Perdón, Colaccini. In Spanish. I'm doing it in Spanish. Perdón, Colaccini. I'm sorry, man. Please.
Scusi.
How many years Colaccini played for Newcastle? Like 10 years almost? Come on, man. No, he played for a long time. Well, it's more than 5 years. I know that.
But it wasn't.
He gave me like 06, was it 07? No, or 13. I think it might have been 13 actually. But come on, man.
13, shut up.
No, it wasn't 13. No, but it wasn't. When did Colaccini join Newcastle United?
Newcastle United from 2008 to 2016.
Oh, 16 is what? Yeah, that's right. So there you go. A long time, man. 8 years. 8 years. Almost. I said almost 10 years, and you're like, not even close. You see? Come on, man.
It's more than I thought. I thought it was about 5 or 6.
And by the way, breaking news for Nottingham Forest. They have, effective immediately, they have parted ways with Nuno Espirito. So there you go. Now they're going to be looking. Hold on to your seats, Newcastle United. Marinac is coming for Eddie Howe. My goodness gracious. And so there you go. But listen, when you don't toe the line, that's what happens. When you got a proper
Well, Wolfie
owner
was saying
with a
on
backbone.
Forest Fans TV that apparently he made a statement to the press or something that was disparaging. I don't know.
Well,
what
he
it
did
was
say that they don't
exactly.
get along. He said that they don't get along, and they're
I think
hoping
it was more than
to.
that. I can't.
Before we got 6 minutes to go. Premier League Hall of Fame nominees, a couple of former Newcastle players, not that you guys will care about, but a few, which is
It's one of them Woodgate.
no, Jonathan Woodward is not there. I wonder why though. I wonder why, since he was so great, the greatest ever for a Premier League club, and he's not in the Premier League Hall of Fame. Sol Campbell is going to go in. Michael Carrick, a Geordie, will be in the Hall of Fame. Michael Carrick and Woodgate. Come on, man. Michael Carrick did. Look at that. Play most of his career at Man United. Really proper midfielder. A Geordie at last. So I guess we're Geordie, so we can be proud of Michael Carrick for having a wonderful career in the Premier League.
I can tell you a quick story on Michael
And nobody
Carrick.
give a damn about Michael Carrick.
No, I
You went to school with him, didn't you?
I went to school with him for the first couple of years of his life.
Oh, of his life when he was 2.
No, when you start school, so probably 4 or 5 upwards. And then he went off to the football, obviously, type of schools rather than stay. Stevens Memorial First School he was at.
Oh man, that's a good story. But he's not on the phone book though. He's not on the phone book, man.
No, you're talking about more kids.
So we've had a bit of. It looks like we've had a bit of an Eddie situation at Nottingham Forest. It's believed that the 51-year-old is unhappy with the club's transfer business this summer and hasn't seen eye to eye with new recruitment chief Edu Gaspar. There have been talks between all parties regarding the situation, but sources say that if issues cannot be resolved, then Nuno will likely be dismissed. So it looks like he hasn't had Eddie's clout and say either him or me.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Warren, against his Mary your Neckers. Chris Howe's gone in nowhere. No, I never said he wanted him going anywhere. Never said he wanted to go. So you gotta understand. So more Hall of Famers. Sol Campbell. That's not the Campbell that played for us, is he? No, that's not.
Sol
the
Campbell played for us 7 games.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Sol Campbell. Yeah, that's it. But he wasn't as good as he was for other teams. Michael Carrick, a Geordie. Again, I don't see any Geordie sympathy here. We're talking about we're united, we're a family, all BS, because we're not praising Michael Carrick, a proper Geordie.
Well, Michael Carrick for me was always way overrated.
Are you kidding? Fucking hell, man. You can't even love on a Geordie lad, man. See, that's the fakeness, you know.
He should have been in that England team instead of either Gerrard or Lampard, because as soon as it found out them two couldn't play together, you should have had a defensive and an attacking midfielder.
No, they should have a manager who could get them to play together.
Okay, so more Jermaine Defoe. Look, I grew up watching all these guys. Jermaine Defoe.
How are these Hall of Fame?
No. So they're Hall of Fame nominees for 2025. Sorry. Hall of Fame nominees. So we'll see who makes the 15-man shortlist. So it's Sol Campbell, Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, Patrice Ebra, Man United legend, you would assume. Cesc Fabregas, really good. Arsenal legend, you would assume. He played for Chelsea too, but I think more about Arsenal. Les Ferdinand, Newcastle United, proper,
but
forward there.
Newcastle, Spurs as well, of course, in QPR.
Robbie Fowler in the list. Eden Hazard will make it because you're legend of Chelsea. You will be there, of course, just like any other club, I would assume. Gary Neville, he wasn't in there already. He stopped playing 50 years ago, definitely. Man. Michael Owen, Newcastle United player, baby.
Well,
he is in there in the list.
Not for his time at Newcastle, but certainly probably deserves to be in there, sadly.
Teddy Sheringham. Well, I don't know who that is. Nah. Teddy Sheringham. David Silva, Man City legend as well. Definitely. David Silva, he'll probably be in there. Yaya Toure, Man City legend as well as full man. Edwin van der Sar, no doubt about it. Man United legend, goalkeeper Edwin van der Sar. Win is in it. And Nemanja Vidic back. I don't know. Some people it's questioned.
Not a chance.
Nemanja is good.
Not
man.
a chance
He
for
was good.
Soro. Van der Sar. I mean, Schmeichel, yeah, but by a million miles, but not Van der Sar.
Nemanja Vidic, the last one on the list. We'll see if they make it or not. But there's a Geordie in there, and that Geordie love is all BS. No unity whatsoever. These two Newcastle-born folks don't give a damn about Michael Carrick. And I thought, it's a Geordie lad. Why wouldn't you love a Geordie lad? It's only 20 teams. It's only 20 teams he can play for, really. So the fact that he's a legend in one of the big ones, they're not bothered. Okay, man. I guess that's the Geordie love is all a farce. Anyway. All right, lads and lasses. Thank you very much indeed, all of you, for joining us. We'll see you all on the next one. Okay, take care. Have a good one. Thank you to all the super chatters. Who chose super chatter?
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, it might be just Gary by himself. We'll have to see. Warren, thank you all night, man. Super chat in Irish Assassin Tony T. Tony T again. I see Irish Assassin Warren Denning all night. The Mighty Fan Club Mill Magician official fan account. Terrence Anchors as well. And so all of you, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one, folks. Ciao, ciao.